It's Cousin Dee. Alright guys, thank you so much for stopping by the channel. I really do appreciate it. Today guys, we are talking about motorcycle superstitions. And there are a whole bunch of superstitions when it comes to motorcycle riders and bikes. But there's 6 that I'm going to cover today that are the most prominent in the community, right? So when I first started riding motorcycles, I met up with some guys at a Cycle Gear one time. And it was a meetup ride. And when I got there on the bike, a guy walked up to me and asked me if I had a bell, a Guardian bell that was under my bike. And I said, no, I don't really know what that is. So he opened up this bag and he pulled out this little bell that had a little hook on it that you put underneath your bike. And this is what he told me, right? He says, this little bell goes underneath your bike. And what it does is you're riding, it just rings and rings and rings and rings. He says, we believe in the motorcycle community there's gremlins and there's spirits, evil spirits, that try to sabotage you as you ride, to either get you hurt or have you broke down the side of the road. And what this bell does is as it rings, it grabs the attentions of the evil spirits and the gremlins. They go to the bell, they get trapped inside. And while they're trapped inside, the bell is just continually ringing because you're going down the road. It drives them so crazy and insane that they leave never to harm a rider again, right? But the thing about the bell is you can't go buy the bell yourself and put it on your bike. You have to gift somebody the bell. So unless you get a bell from somebody, you can't have a bell, right? So that's the whole thing with the trap the evil with the bell. The next one that's big in the community is you don't ride with your pegs down in the back. So people will sit on the back of your motorcycle, you're riding around, you got the pegs down, they put their feet on it. When the pegs are up, they can't put their feet on it. And the reason is, right, is you don't have your pegs down is because the myth is that if you're riding around on your motorcycle with your pegs down, then you're inviting the evil spirits to ride along with you, to tag along on the back and cause chaos. So when you're riding, no one's on the back of your motorcycle, pegs up. Right? The only exception to the peg down is if you're in a funeral procession, right? And you're in a motorcycle procession at a funeral, then what you do is you put your pegs down in the back, and what that is doing is inviting the person who had passed away to enjoy the ride and to ride along with you on the procession run. Right? That's the only time you would ride with your pegs down when you're by yourself. So that's the next one that is pretty big in the community. The third one is green bikes. And Kawasaki, man, they get a bad rap for this because Kawasaki is green. As green as you can get, like lime green, fluorescent green, right? So the myth to this one is the green bikes are bad luck because in World War II, the soldiers out there were riding motorcycles, right? They were like Harley Davidson and they were riding bikes and they were all painted green from the Army. As the World War II ended, the motorcycles started coming back. And as people started buying these motorcycles that were overproduced, coming back into the States, right? They started buying them, but they had issues and problems and breaks, and they had been in war, and they would break down a lot, and people were getting killed on them because the maintenance wasn't correct, and everything was wrong with the motorcycles. So the green bikes got the bad rap. So do not buy a green bike. That's what they say. I don't know how Kawasaki gets away with doing what they do, but it's the green bike. The next one we're going to talk about is drop your helmet and drop your head. Right? So this superstition is that the motorcycle helmet never touches the ground. It's always on your bike somewhere, but it's never on the ground. Because the superstition is if you have your motorcycle helmet on the ground, your head is soon to follow. So if you have your motorcycle helmet on the ground, then your head is soon to follow, and you're going to have a wreck. And people look at me all the time because I'll be somewhere and I'll be pulled over on the side doing something. I always have my motorcycle, my helmet will be on the ground, and I'll be like, charging up my Senna, right? And people like pull up and they'll look, and they're like, I know the superstition, right? But I always do it. I always charge it like on the ground. My cord sometimes the cord's not long enough, and it'll just fit right there so I can charge my helmet up, right? So the next one we're going to be talking about today is stop to help another biker is good karma. And the superstition on this is, if you see a motorcycle rider down, and we're really good about this, motorcycle riders will help another motorcycle. If you see a motorcycle rider down, we always pull over. We always go over to see what's going on, if everything's okay. We wait till they get the thumbs up, then we go about our business, right? And the stopping to help is a good karma superstition is, if you don't stop and help, the karma to come back to you, and then when you get an accident or you get broke down, then nobody's going to come and help you. So it's just a good karma superstition, right? So the next one we're going to talk about is don't ride a dead man's bike. And the reason that is if the ghost is still wandering around, he'll knock you off the bike, and then the spirit will cling to the bike forever. So that's the big superstition behind riding a dead man's bike. So if you bought a bike from a guy who passed away, they're saying that you'll just be riding down the road. The spirit will come back to the bike, knock you off the bike, right? And then cling to that bike forever. So the whole time you have that bike will be issues and problems and, broke down, stuck in the middle of nowhere, gas leaks, tire problems, on and on and on and on. All right, guys, so I want to give you the rundown of the superstition that we deal with on a daily basis in the motorcycle community. I'll go ahead and let you enjoy the rest of the ride. Thank you for stopping by, and you guys have a great day.